Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. This week's Parsha is that of Acharei Mos and Kedoshim. Towards the end of Parshas Acharei Mos, the Torah elaborates on prohibited relationships, incestual, adultery, and things of this nature. And the Torah tells us, Al titamu b'chol ela, we should not defile ourselves with all of these, Ki b'chol ela nitmiu hagoyim asher ani mishalech mipnechem, because it was these that served as a means in which the nations that inhabit the land of Israel contaminated and corrupted themselves. Batitma ha'aretz, and the land became corrupted and contaminated. V'efgay da'avoyna aleha, and I calculated the sin upon it, upon the land. V'atoki ha'aretz es yoshveha, and the land vomited out its inhabitants because of these transgressions. And therefore you should be extremely cautious and not to engage in any of the repulsive behavior of those who inhabited. So a few questions. The Torah obviously is emphasizing the severity of one who engages in these types of repulsive, abominational behaviors, incest, adultery. But why does it say that the land became corrupted? If man engaged in sinful behavior, what does it have to do with the land? And it says, I calculated the sin upon it, that the sin that was committed by mankind, Hashem calculates as if the land is responsible. And therefore the land spew forth these inhabitants. And this is in reference to the land of Israel. Why is it that human behavior and sinful activity should have such an impact on the land that the land becomes contaminated? In addition, why only in Israel? If human behavior is such that it can contaminate the land upon which we dwell, then why should this be limited to the land of Israel? This should be true wherever we exist. Such abominations should cause the land to become impure. The Ramban explains, we find verses in which it refers to Hashem as the Adon hu Adonim, the Lord of all lords. What does that mean? Hashem is the Lord of other lords. What other lords are they? We know Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem is one. There is nothing other than Hashem. Hashem is the only reality. There exists no other forces other than Hashem. So what does it mean? He's the Adon hu Adonim. We understand he's the King of kings, human kings. What does it mean? He's the Lord of lords and everything. The Ramban says that when Hashem created this world, we find in Parshas Azinu, in which it refers to creation, and it says, Ki chelek Hashem amay. Hashem's portion is his nation. Hashem has a portion. The sages ask, what do you mean Hashem has a portion? Hashem is the creator and master, the owner of everything. Kila Hashem haaretz maloya, King David says, unto God belongs the earth and everything that fills it. What do you mean Hashem has a portion? And they say it means that yes, Hashem is the master of all that he created, but Hashem has a special, unique, chosen portion, and that is his nation. And when Hashem created the earth, and he created various areas to be inhabited by mankind, Hashem created a special angel, a guardian angel for that nation and that land. And that angel is given the mission to protect and care for the land. And this angel is, so to say, the Lord, the master over that nation, that land. However, when it comes to the land of Israel, over here, Hashem says there is no guardian angel, but rather the land of Israel, this is considered the palace of Hashem. And Hashem, the King of all kings, the creator, the master of everything that exists, he has his own special supervision without any angel, anything, performing any function. And this is what it means that Hashem is in total control of his palatial area, the land of Israel. And for that reason, Ramban explains and says that we know human behavior can influence and impact on its environment. We saw that by the flood. Mankind became so corrupt that it influenced the very nature of the vegetation and even animal behavior. Animals were influenced by the corrupt attitude of humanity. They became corrupt. They would mate with other species, which the entire world had to be destroyed. It was filled with this corruption, like a bacteria that gets into the walls of a house, and the whole house is filled with illness. When human beings behave in ways of abomination and corruption, it can have an influence on other human beings, affecting the way they think and reason, and it certainly can have an impact upon the very land and the environment in which we find ourselves. However, in regard to other areas outside of Israel, the guardian angels are such, they can tolerate this. The fact that the land is corrupt, there's such impurity, there is such moral devastation, it can be tolerated by these guardian angels. But the land of Israel, the sacred holy land of Israel, has a shomer. It has a unique guardian, Hashem himself, who is the essence of all that is pure and all that is holy, and therefore such behavior cannot be tolerated. And that's why it says that this behavior of the nations that were found before Yeshua and Klal Yisrael entered Israel, it was vatitma haaretz. Their behavior caused that the land itself became impure. And v'efkad avoinolav, v'efkad I calculated, meaning Shem says, this is my palace. This is where I live. This is where the sanctity is found as nowhere else on earth. And here we cannot tolerate even the slightest element of this impurity. And therefore the sins of man were calculated upon the land. And the land, the palace of Hashem, under Hashem's unique supervision, spewed forth these sinners. They cannot live here. Klal Yisrael, they are the chosen portion of Hashem. They are the ones that Hashem said, the Yisem li segula, you will be unto me a treasure, mikol ha'amim, from amongst all the nations, because you are fit to dwell in the palace. You, Klal Yisrael, can have a unique bond with this land. And this has been borne out through history. Through history, if you read Mark Twain, when he went to visit the Holy Land, and he speaks about how desolate it was, and it was barren. And throughout history, while Klal Yisrael was in exile, the land itself, even before 1948, in the 1920s, when people visited there and they write about it, the land, it was living like living in a no man's land. It was so difficult. And yet, when the Jews live there, the land responds. The land which is holy responds to those who are holy. Kedoshim tihiyu, from Acharei Mos, we go right into Kedoshim, that you will be holy and you are holy, Hashem is telling us. And we are the ones that we can combine. We're drawn to the land responds to Klal Yisrael. And we take it for granted, but Eretz Yisrael was a vast cesspool until Klal Yisrael came. The settlers came in the beginning of the 20th century, and we see how it has become an oasis, how it has become a magnificent, beautiful, productive land. The land is bringing forth its vegetation as if to say, my child has come back to the palace, and the palace walls are alive once again. This is Eretz Yisrael. And the reason is because we don't have a guardian angel. We don't have forces that Hashem created, nature to take care. Eretz Yisrael. And Klal Yisrael is under the direct supervision of the King of Hashem himself. We have many enemies. We will always have many enemies, but we should never despair because we are protected by the Shomer Yisrael, the guardian of Israel. And the guardian of Israel is no angel. He is no one appointed by Hashem, no forces, no nature, but Hashem himself. Hashem is there for us throughout history. Hashem has special supervision for the land, the Holy Land of Israel, and we have been charged that we should be the ones to safeguard Ushamatem Chukoisai v'es Mishpatai, God's statutes, his laws. And with this, we should be able to be worthy of seeing all of Klal Yisrael return to Hashem's holy palace, and we can bask in the glory of our King and our Creator for all eternity. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a good Shabbos.